probably just having lunch, and it's like, how much can we get down before? And
Yeah.
come in like lumps.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
I think that's what I did the other one. It was like last minute, how much can I get for that sort of on the dot? You get it 2 days or 1 day or? Having booked haven't managed to get anyone to come to my work session tomorrow, so chances are I may not.
Oh, are you local?
No.
Oh, right. Where are you from?
Do you know Little Hudson? Sort of in between Chichester and Brighton. Yeah, sort of down that way. Angry.
Sorry?
Angry? Have you ever taken the train?
No. No, I'm trying to think why that's ringing a bell. I've got why.
About an hour and a quarter on the train. And then have to walk back each time.
We drove this one and Devon south of England. Yeah, we drove
That much? Hello.
Don't tell me I'm the only one.
No, and there was somebody else who's put their things down and.
Oh good, I've got time to go to the toilet.
Yeah, we're all right.
All right.
We've got another 5 minutes yet, so.
Oh, that's okay. It's such a rush when you've only got half an hour between and you're trying to get to lunch.
Absolutely. Well, we just said that. We said we expect, because I said, oh, we don't really have a first maybe this is going to come. But,
well, the queue for lunch doesn't really allow for a half an hour lunchtime. I don't know how pudding as it was.
oh, no, you missed out on cheesecake. Should have brought it with you. The takeaway one. Hello.
Hello.
You okay?
Are we working?
We're all working.
Is this
we're all
efficient?
running. Well, it's 5 minutes it will be.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, fine.
You
Okay.
alright with that? Or you?
Hot in this room. Or is it me?
It is very warm.
I came in, yeah. I couldn't open the other window because it seemed to be stuck. And that radiator's on full blast. So.
This one seems to be stuck, does it?
Yeah, I didn't want to.
That's about the cobwebs. It's not
Yeah,
about the floor.
yeah, I did like
Well and truly. Well and truly.
yeah.
What not it in? Well, just do that for a bit.
Yeah.
Then when somebody says this must be cold in here, then sorry I can't read.
Avoid.
That will work better if the light falls on there. A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Got another session of I've got to do in a quarter of an hour. I've got to turn my head around from observation to risk. That's fun, okay. Yeah. Although they linked together slightly. in the basement in the other hotel. Sorry, in the ballroom. I keep saying it's the basement. It's the ballroom. It is in the basement. Ballroom in the basement.
First room was happening so good.
Yeah, this room's really, really warm, I think.
Oh good, that's it.
Nice, maybe you want fresh air, that we need.
I was in a room. Oh, you sort of lose track which hotel you're in, don't
I
you?
know, I was going from one to the other.
I think I was in the other one upstairs, and the sun was shining right in, and everyone was like peeling off.
It's such a shame that those curtains are shut now, and you know we get a lovely sunny winter's day. It's just so nice. Isn't it?
Yeah.
In the spring now, and then we're just trading. We shut all the curtains, block the sun out. Give it another minute, and then we'll.
Do you know, a lot of people were literally shoveling food down.
Right.
Yeah, I think some of the way the lectures of talks are.
Yeah, there isn't a set lunchtime, is there?
No.
Because there's so many people,
Yeah,
so there has to
yeah.
be a turnover, but
Yeah.
the way it's staggered.
Like what time?
Does anyone know where it is?
It's right there.
Can't get myself on the street.
Well, you've got your own name badge anyway. You did your breakfast cup this morning, did you? Yeah. I did. What's yours done so far then? You did with Hi. What did you want to do? Observation? No.
You're still eating me pudding.
Who were you looking for?
Ali.
Oh, Ali. Right.
Which is all right.
Yeah, I don't know which one she is.
Just because this has Alan on it, I thought it was the medicine.
I'm a manager. What do I need to think about? I don't know. When I'm really smooth.
Okay.
You know, that's into risk and uncertainty. Because last week I went to that fail clash. And I was about to go to another one, but I thought I'll leave that after like 5 minutes to come here. So I'll leave that one.
I know it's that temptation, isn't it, to just cram everything in and do as much as you can while you can.
Haven't had time to look at any of the books or anything.
No.
Might have to use that tomorrow.
Hello. All right. Observation? Yes. Come on in. Thank you very much. We're just waiting for a couple of minutes. I think the general opinion was that people were having lunch and there was a bit of a queue and people were trying to get it down.
Probably like, I'm going to say, keep that one.
Yeah, a lot of the rooms are so hot, aren't they?
I think I've been cold so far.
Oh, really?
It's a bit tired.
You were up in so. But had like been so crowded.
Did you guys have to do
Yeah, I managed to.
cake? I wasn't quite really hoping maybe slightly out.
Oh, where it goes that?
Oh, did it?
You've got 10 minutes to run get something. It helps you on something with bench.
Then I need about 45.
You can see on the table. I don't know, I just saw them, I was just like, I didn't.
Okay. Of course you can, yeah, we've not started this. We're having lunch.
Yeah.
I'm the other big problem. If you get too cold, we can close that window so that it looks really, really, really hot. And then, so it's just got some fresh air and everything. Particularly after lunch, so we all I decided that as it was kind of towards the end of the lunchtime session, we needed to kind of get up and moving around like activity. I hope you're up to it.
That was me, I read it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll make a start then. So this session is around observations, and the title of the session is to observe or not to observe. Yeah. Should we be observing? Should we be observing all the time? The time that we shouldn't be observing. So we've only got an hour and a half. So it's just about exploring some of those issues, the value of observation, the sorts of things that we need to be looking out for, and the practical elements of observation as well. The different methods as well. It's really useful to do some quick introductions, some of the ages on it, but just so that I can kind of gauge your background, people early years trained and moved into play work, or people new to play work, experienced people, etc. And if there's anything specific you want to about the session, and flag it up now, and if it's not already in here, if I can go to it, then I will do. So I'm Vicky Twist, I'm a play work trainer, and I do voluntary play work as well. Really truly believe you've kind of got to keep in there, and if I move too far away from playing with children, then you remove that link between theory and practice. So often found in outdoor play areas actually, so waterproofing where you should. Okay, and I'm from South Devon, Torquay. Okay, should we start with Vicky?
I'm Julie. I currently work for Charity School Dispersion. We work alongside London Prisons. So we have play areas and social group and support young people and children.
Okay.
Under the
Great. Great. I'm Bella. Sort of like a conflict circle in a sense. Youth worker. I teach in school clubs. So yeah. So next. Yeah. I think
I'm Anne, I'm an out-of-school improvement advisor, and I support Ofsted registered out-of-school provision some also that's done by full day care. We used to support school run as well, and I think we may be going back to that, but not at the moment.
Which local authority?
Kent Health Council.
Hi, I'm Nikki. I am now an advisor for Surrey County Council on the play work team, but my background is both play work and early years. I was a daycare manager for a very large day nursery and play scheme setting for numerous years, and then I set up an after school club provision, which is now in a few local schools in Guildford. So yeah.
You're wearing two hats a lot of the time.
I did. Yeah, good. And it's very interesting now being an advisor as opposed to be actually running a setting.
I had my own setting for 10 years before I did the job.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Neelam. I work in Adventure Playground in East London. I've been in playwork for 4 years, just happened to fall into it, but before then I worked in a childcare setting. I also do play pods at schools and do an inclusions project. That's it, really.
Okay. Again, lots of hands there. That's great.
Hi, I'm Lynn. I work for Chichester College. I'm early years background, but I have plans for play work, and I'm also a digital and business.
Right. So yeah, so fair amount of early years experience in the room as well. So we will be drawing on some of the kind of traditional early years type observations and looking at, you know, how suitable they are, the programs, etc. and the crossovers there as well. Fabulous. Oh, don't do that to me. When did that go off?
I'm back on.
Problem is it's locked, so if I turn it on and off, it'll just say that it needs a password, and we're not given the password. So if I turn it on and off, it won't work.
What about just with the projector?
Yeah, it looks like it's a projector.
It's not that. And that will go into sleep mode.
My initial instinct was to use my own equipment. Probably that.
How do you, where do you do play pods?
Well, my organisation, they provide play pods to schools who are interested, and Hackney Play Association. And so schools will come to them, to looking at other schools who've done play pods, and they'll be interested, and then my organisation sort of facilitates that. So there's, you know, they do a bit of training with the midday meals, provide them with scrap parts and stuff, and so yeah. And then we play workers, we go into schools and we sort of play mentors. So it's very interesting. So yeah.
How many particular schools with?
Well, I don't know. It's actually becoming quite popular now, but I've done I'm on my second school now, but I think it's word and mouth.
So you sort of have it for a bit and then it's
they keep it. So they keep the play pods, and then we stay there. Kind of we're play mentors, helping the middays, and also seeing how the children, seeing how it is. really for middays, kind of getting them into it, because it is kind of scary, especially in a school environment. You've got all the scrap parts and loose parts and stuff. So, and then we're there for, I think, 6 weeks, and I think they get a lot of training as well by my line manager, who's also a trainer. It's a good learning experience.
I know, mine too.
They work with the governing body as well. Is it like a whole school approach?
Yeah, whole school approach. So I think it's the
It needs to be like that
It
for it to
needs
work.
Yeah, because we tried the bottom down training the midday supervisors and what have you, but then they got stamped on from above because the teachers and didn't understand the culture and ethos and kept telling the children off. So it didn't work. Yeah, for play. Yeah.
I've done a project like that in Australia, actually, and they have come from a place like that took that model of play from here and replicate that in Australia, and they've put them in schools across Australia, and they did personal development training sessions with the teachers, because they don't have separate staff to come in and supervise their lunch.
Right,
The
okay.
teachers still do it.
Right.
And so I facilitated like the play pods as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's you can't just put in a play pod there. Like I think
No,
it needs to be like
that's what we've learned.
For training,
Because Common Thread
get that
did a
understanding
big
of it.
project, didn't they? And they found out that you have to work with the head teacher and the governing body and get the whole school culture going.
And
Otherwise,
it's very hard
doing
to
that doesn't work.
Culture.
Yeah,
To
it
change
is.
that, actually.
And I was with a guy in the previous session who goes in and trains and works with schools to develop their play. And he goes at it from the slant of it improves outcomes for children, which it does.
Yeah.
Sorry?
That one follow.
Yeah.
So you have Mark Armitage, he's doing a lot of work over in Australia.
Right.
He's not part of Play Australia, but he's doing workshops to teach schools, like their teachers, like the of playing.
Because you have to get the teachers and things on board, or you've lost before you start. Yeah, and the parents. Children can go home dirty.
Yeah.
Shock horror.
And teachers and school governors. And
You need the whole school approach.
The whole lot.
Yeah.
I find it really difficult. I go into particularly school environments and I'm training 1 or 2 members of staff. Your own, it's very difficult for that kind of ethos and value of play and play work to filter through. So they're almost working in
isolation. Yeah, it doesn't work.
Often when I do play works training for a couple of staff in a school, I'll offer to go and do a workshop around what is play for the rest of the team, so particularly the leadership team. So at least they've got some little seeds sown in there.
So they've got some understanding.
Yeah, I think they did I think the people that run it, my organisation, they did the assembly, the other staff were there, children were there. I think you're right, you need the leadership. And also the training as well. They've got their own portfolio that they put, I think they put observations, their concerns, and then they go back to their meetings and kind of share their concerns and kind of work around it.
Okay, right, lesson learned. Use your own equipment at all times. Okay, so I've switched to my laptop. So we're going again. So a little recap then. Have you all done some sort of playwork training? If I'm talking about the playwork principles, you've got an overview of them. So play is freely chosen, it's personally directed and intrinsically motivated. Playworkers or play advisors, this is one of our aims, isn't it? That we provide this or the opportunity for this to children. So they should be choosing what they do, how they do it, and why they do it. Okay. And why is play important? Yeah, so hopefully we've got political people coming tomorrow, although I'm not sure. You'd have to be a very brave person to come to a playwork conference at the moment, wouldn't you? In this economic... Sorry? I think the rumour is that they're possibly not going to, that we'll see what happens. I'd like them to come, but I think it's going to be all challenge and very difficult. So why is play important? Just quick fire. Why is play important?
teaches you skills which sitting in the classroom can't necessarily do.
Okay, yeah, so it's an alternative, yeah.
Provide downtime.
Downtime, yeah. Give them a chance to explore themselves, their own limits, learning their own boundaries, their own identity.
Their relationships with children, the natural world.
Absolutely, so with peers and adults, building different types of attachments maybe, etc. Yeah. Developing skills, problem solving, negotiating, dealing with conflict, communication, self-reliance, independence, confidence,
Helps them to find out things
yeah,
for themselves, which they take more ownership of.
yeah, recognising feelings, dealing with feelings, dealing with some of the negative stuff, experiencing fear, and actually how do I deal with that? I'm climbing up the tree and I'm stuck up the tree, what am I going to do now? How do I handle that situation? So often play provides different situations and experiences and opportunities for children. People. So what do we mean by observation? So if we say observation, what do you think we mean by observation?
Or not writing, observe what measure.
It's watching with a purpose.
Watching with a purpose, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Not always though, because sometimes we observe something and there's no purpose there and the reasons didn't come out until later on. So sometimes it's got a purpose behind it. So we might want to know how often an area is used. Sometimes it hasn't got a purpose, I'm just observing what's going on here.
No, but the purpose is to inform you.
Yes.
Always.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Okay.
you always can learn from watching children or watching animals.
Yeah. Okay.
Recording data.
Maybe recording. We don't always record, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sometimes we record. Yeah. And listening. Yeah. So in the observation side of it, we need to be listening as well. Yeah. And so what are children saying? What are the noises and sounds that they're making? And also observation for me, it's about having an open mind. Yeah. If I go into something with preconceived idea about what's going on, what's happening, what's going to happen, how children feel about a certain thing, then I'm putting bias into that observation. So it's really important that you just go in with an open mind, and you haven't already got an idea about what's going on or what should be going on or what people should be feeling or how they should be behaving. So I just want you to think for a moment about a time when you might have observed children. So it could be something very recent, or it could be something significant from the past, but just pick a time where you've been observing children. And I want you to think about who benefited from that observation, okay, from you doing the observation. That could be just you watching and not recording, or it could be watching and actually writing up the observation. What did you learn from that observation, and what did you do with the information? Okay. So just a couple of notes, and we've got a washing line over there, so there's some, actually behind you there's some clips there, rather than text, that you can peg your information to the washing line. Okay. So who benefited, what did you learn, and what did you do with that information? Do you want to put yours up or you want to hold on to it? It's up to you. Okay. Okay, so what have we got on here then? So, safeguarding. So it was a family, child was not at harm, recorded it and passed it on to other services as needed. So definitely an observation with a purpose. So this observation is forming part of a story. Yeah, and we'll talk about that in a little while, because when we're thinking about observations, we can't use them in isolation, can we? We need other factors and things in there to build our story. Yeah, a story is not about one page in a book, it's about all of those pages and characters and plots, etc. Okay. Another one here, the benefit was the child, play worker, parents and colleagues learns about the child's preferences, levels of skill, and share information verbally or record it and stored in the file. So that was benefiting the child, because the play worker had got that information, or they were recording it, and hopefully they were going to use that, I don't know who wrote this one, to inform practice and build on the provision for that particular child. Fab. Who benefited? Whole class, e.g. providing more opportunity. Don't know yet, is that about what, oh no, what
Sorry, that's the opposite. I don't mean, you might be learning, but I don't really know what the benefit of that is, so,
Yeah, and often we do observations, and particularly the planned observations. So sometimes the best observations are those spontaneous ones, aren't they? When we just capture sensitive information. So what did you learn? Larger space. Yeah, so that was about changing the setting, maybe changing play spaces, etc. Okay. And what did you do with the information? Stored it in your head. Absolutely, used it the following day. Yeah, great.
I don't know. I'm not even. If you can read it.
That's absolutely fine, yeah. Organisation, so who benefited with the organisation? So staff and the children. What did you learn? Everyone says that. Everybody.
I don't know what I wrote. I forgot.
And then for number 3, keep it as evidence. So using it for funding, case studies and reflective accounts, that your one? Yeah, so gathering information. So sometimes we have to keep information. It could be statistical information about how many people are using the setting or the club, if you have got charity funding, etc., grants. Then you have to prove who is accessing, what it's being accessed for, and actually what the outcomes and the outputs are as well. So observation is fabulous for that sort of evidence. Okay. Observe the engagement of children in a setting. Generally, older children were not so engaged, activities not always suitable, and staff did not notice this. We'll review range of activities, support staff to develop observational skills, staff training to improve and look at providing more opportunities for risk and challenge. So I guess that's one of you two coming in and observing what's going on in the setting. So absolutely, so those observations are actually feeding into how staff might be deployed. Strengths and weaknesses of staff as well. Yes, they've all got different skills, different knowledge, different strengths and weaknesses. So looking at how we arrange our team, and then looking at staff CPD and development there. Fabulous. And observation in National Skills Club, 2 times. And you're looking at behaviour, food choices and timing in response to head and
the governing body.
Governing body.
Yeah.
Okay, we need a team provision, so you're looking at that. And then, so did you learn anything about that observation?
They just threw up a question as to why was the budget for food they felt was high.
Right.
So we did it in response. We did it as an observation around, if you don't feed children, then what behaviour would be like, and also we've just, so we were trying to put it across in a very, tea time for the children at After School Club is a very positive experience.
So what you're trying to get across is this budget isn't just about providing food, it's about the social experiences, it's about the interaction, it's about nutrition, good nutrition, it's about learning about healthy bodies, healthy minds.
We experienced that at work. We felt in the summertime, it's a long, we're open 7 hours, so 10 till 5:30, and children have their, I don't know when they have their lunch, probably about 12 or 1 o'clock, or sometimes earlier than that. They just eat their lunch, and then what we found was after 3 o'clock they would get quite anxious, irritated, and then and a few things happen, a bit of challenging behaviour, and then we thought, well, why don't we introduce something after 3 o'clock, like sandwiches or something. And it's made a big difference. Hunger does. When they're hungry, they do get a bit anxious. And
yourself, if you've kind of gone all day and you've not eaten, your sugar levels start to drop. You start to feel a bit panicked, don't you? And, a little bit irritable, and and it's the same with children and that. And they sometimes they will, sometimes they won't, but they might just carry on playing, and you can get behaviour issues, lack of concentration, etc. Whereas most of us would go, actually I haven't eaten, I need to stop and settle the night.
And what I've noticed now going out to settings, the after school clubs, they are saying that from last September, because there were universal free school meals for the infant schools, there has been a very good uptake of that, but a lot of children don't seem to enjoy the meals that they're being given, and therefore when these children then come to After School Club, actually they were all of a sudden they're getting a lot more children who are very tearful, their play, they're having lots of arguments, and they've backtracked it, and we've said, you really need to keep an eye and find out, actually, is it because these kids are really hungry, because actually if they haven't eaten much for lunch and maybe only had something for breakfast, actually those kids are running on empty.
And they've done lunchtime play, and
the lunchtime might not have been a positive experience apart from the food. So that it becomes a whole experience, not just about food.
So I think actually, even though we're quite a small group, you've got most of these. So the benefits of observation, to improve play opportunities, so for an individual or for a group, to support play. So actually, when play workers know when do I need to intervene, when do I not need to intervene, so using those different levels of intervention at appropriate times. To develop the setting, and that could just be making a bigger space of Zen or getting in different resources. Reflective practice for the person that's doing the observation, and for others if it's shared, so thinking about what's going on. Why do we do this? We're just doing it because this is the way it's always been done, or are we doing it because it's actually meeting and doing what we think it should be? To build us a picture, so that whole picture rather than just that snapshot. It's building in with other things. To support individuals, to support the group, and also to influence, hopefully, training and development for the team there as well. Just thinking about all of those, there are other ways though that we could gather that information. So why not use just other methods? So surveys, suggestion boxes, talking to children, planning, smiling, supervision of staff. Why might we not just rely on those? What's the benefit of observation as opposed to all of those things? Because if I did all of those things, I could probably tick all of the boxes on the previous slide, couldn't I?
But you risk the chance of leading them into a particular answer. If you observe them, they're natural. You get a better overview.
You get a natural view of what's going on. You're better informed. It's much better quality if the observation's done correctly. So I'm not saying don't do any of these things, because actually these can be quite useful, but your observations are really, really powerful, particularly if you can get it at a time when children are engrossed in play and they're not aware that you're there observing. There's less bias in there. You're seeing and observing
what's actually happened to the natural
I guess it only works if they've got a practitioner or understand what's going on.
So some different methods of observation then. So you'll probably, those of you particularly from an early years background, will be very familiar with some of these. Written observations, so short observations. So short observations are generally a snapshot of what's going on. It could be a planned one, or it could be you've just seen something, or you've just heard something, or a child just said something to you, and you quickly scribble that down somewhere. You could have a form that's been designed by your setting that you record it on, or it could just be on a post-it note. Long observations, where you usually around 10 minutes doing an observation. You could be recording speech, development skills, etc. A reflective log or diary, well, so that's kept over a period of time. And some people will keep that about them and they'll make notes as they go, or some people do it at the end of the week or at the end of the day. Photos, videos, sound recording, memory, session evaluation, focusing on the memory or the session evaluations is at the end, so you probably do like reflection as a team at the end of your sessions, hopefully, where you're just kind of talking about what might have happened, what you might have seen, positive, negative, etc. You might be focusing on a child or a group of children. You might be looking at just an area, rather than focusing on the children. Tracking, you know what tracking is? So where you've got a plan of the setting, and you might be tracking particular children to see where they move. Yeah, you can do time sampling as well, where you look at what particular child is doing at a certain time.
Movement.
Yeah, absolutely, and event sampling as well, where you look at certain, so it might be a drop-off time or it might be a snack time, and have a look at what's happening around those times. And then we've got participant observer and non-participant observer, and I'll going to come back to those a little bit later on. But just to kind of get you up and out of your seat, so around the room, I've just picked a few of these out. And I want you just to think about what the pros and the cons are for each of these. So we've got tracking, photos, end of session evaluation, written, and focus on an area. And I want you to just have a think about what the negatives of using that observation method might be, but also what the positive might be. Yeah, so pros and cons. I've just realised I've not put pros and cons in that one. Okay, so if you've got pens, you can use those. If not, we've got a variety of pens in here that you can grab and use. Hello. Yeah, we've only just started. It wouldn't work. It gave up. But I have my own laptop, so I quickly. It just went to a blank screen and it wouldn't come back on again. So I have got it working.
It's because it's not plugged in.
I've unplugged it.
Okay.
Because I had to put mine in. But that was all
Time consuming.
it was on, it went to a blank screen.
I quite fancy if it was subjective or objective. Because you kind of might think that you're being objective, but you see what you want to see a lot of the time.
And especially that time in their head, all you see is like the actual figure, and you don't know what they're thinking. You don't know exactly what these characters are.
Okay, back on.
I'll put some.
You carry on using
I'm
just
kind of set
it's
up
fine.
now, but for the next
Okay.
You might think, oh, they're saying action, like a limited in. They might be in one and a seven, not a challenge or a thing.
But you can make kind of
Yeah.
It's interesting, looking at the pros and cons of using photos as a method of observation. Did it affect you in any way at all?
Photos are really good, like,
Put
put
more
more
into
into
it.
the child,
Yeah.
and let them That's why this consultation is like, it's all very observant, but
Can't do any
that
more.
tends to be doing observation. So I've been sitting there thinking, like, the pros of it is like, right, you see what's happening.
Thank you for allowing my observation.
It's in the moment, you know, when you look at it, but
say, oh, you can see a picture of them doing that. So how do you do that? Dancing.
Yeah, do that,
Yeah.
There's a really good picture what's it called?
That's where you look at different times. Notice
That's where we go round to the room and attract your scene. So it can be influenced by who's where.
There's a lack of information that everyone puts out there.
You almost have that supporting evidence
To go with it, yeah.
to make full use of it.
it's just the way you just watch where we go.
And you can do that at the time.
Yeah.
Say, well,
So you
what
need
about
that supplementary evidence to make.
who are they playing with?
Whatever point, just to see what they're interested in different areas. Yeah.
You could maybe so there's a child that just sort of glitters, they never really get into anything.
So that's a pro, isn't it? Like making patterns and patterns.
Yeah,
Interest.
patterns good. You can't be subjective with it. It's just no, it is what it is. It's just solid fact. It's not worth money when it actually is.
And I guess that's a con
A
itself
record
as well.
of their activity, isn't it? Rather than anything else.
So you could go to one spot, someone could upset them, and then they might move on to another spot. Like there's no
Yeah, so
context.
Yeah, that's why
yeah, it
you
might be they wanted to play here, but they've been pushed elsewhere.
Yeah. So I put lack of context. Lack of everything.
Yeah.
Time period.
You just got to kind of sit there because you've got to be there quite a while to gain any information.
Moving the pictures.
And the legislation. Parental permission and everything. She then gets the pictures themselves, and then they can look at the picture. We had a session yesterday. Yeah. I don't know, maybe you can take pictures of the different things. Yeah. Also, maybe there's a fashion show, and part of the fashion show is a kid and this is a public.
making it hard to put it up in nursery settings. Like this is situation like possible children under 5 or sometimes it's stuff that they're observation eyes. See that? It's some compound. Just review some of these things. Then photos you've got in the moment. Absolutely, it just captures that snapshot there, doesn't it? That image that will probably never be repeated exactly as it is at that moment. However, it does provide an opportunity for it to jog your memory. Yeah, so maybe at the end of session evaluation, or if you're doing a scrapbook with children or something like that, it's a reminder for them and a reminder for you. You can use it for advertising as well. Yeah, if there's something really kind of wonderful about that, something that's going to draw other children in, etc. It's quick, and it can be used as evidence as well, so it can build up a picture. Consent issues, so you need to make sure that you know exactly who you can take pictures of and how that can be used. So some parents will give permission for you to take pictures and for it to be used anywhere. Some parents and carers may give permission, but only for kind of observational purposes, not to be used in marketing. Some people are concerned about photos on the internet, but be happy for it to go in a newsletter. So it's about being open and transparent with parents and just making sure what photos can be used for what purposes. And the parents won't give permission at all. You're not allowed to take photographs of those children. Confidentiality issues, and they can pose the picture as well. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so they stop what they're doing if they see you about to take a photo and they smile and you capture that moment, but you miss the play element. Great. And do you use photos in your settings? Yeah, children like them, don't they? They like them to build their own scrapbook. And session evaluations then. Sorry?
I missed out a word. Time. not getting proper time.
I see. Yeah, not getting proper time in a busy setting. Yeah, and I thought, so it's at the end of the session as well. So actually we've worked the whole session, we've been really busy, we've logged loads of resources out, we've put loads of resources away, we might have dealt with conflict, we've prepared a snack, food and activities, and everything's been put away now, and the children have all gone home. And now we've got to sit down and do an evaluation. And actually, by the time you get to that point, quite often people are tired, they're exhausted, they're thinking about what they're cooking for their own dinner, where they're picking their own children up from, what they're doing that evening, etc., etc. So sometimes it seems that when the children have gone, then that's the end of the session. So it is around changing perception, doing reflective practice and evaluation, and making sure that everybody knows that's part of the role. Having said that, if you're tired, you're not at your best, are you? Yeah.
Going over and over.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Pros, team building. It's immediate, it's good if you've got full memory, so working together with people, but also those reflections at the end of the session mean that you can share what you've seen and other people can add in their little bit as well, so it gives that bigger picture, doesn't it? It's not about just what you've observed, but they might have seen something happen earlier on in the day, which adds value to what you've seen. So if there's been conflict between two children earlier on in the day, and then you'd observe something, they might be able to shed some light on what it is that you've observed and why that might have happened. So it's really important to be working with colleagues there. Staff not having a good understanding. So I think you put that in the comment
arrows that way,
so if you're doing an evaluation, what is it you're evaluating, and what is it you're evaluating against as well? So you've got to have that at least a basic understanding of what play is. Just quickly go through these ones. Focusing on a particular area. The pros, is it under or overused? So actually are the children going there? Is it being used for the purposes that you intended it to be used for? So it could be that you set up some sort of role play area, and actually you're finding that that's where maybe the older children are going, and they're kind of sitting there in a group and they're having a chit chat. And so what's that telling you? That's saying that the older children are looking for a place where maybe there's some beanbags and they can sit around and with their peers and talk about things and look through magazines, etc. So they've adapted that play space that you set up as a role play area into something else. It means that you can change that, you can look at how that's being used and maybe set up that space somewhere else or alter what's been provided there. And it can influence your budget and spending as well. If we have lots and lots of loose parts, then often we find that children will use those. Yes, you know what I mean by loose parts. They're not toys, not your toys and equipment, but other things. So absolutely, big impact on budget and spending there as well. Cons, it could be other things that are affecting the use of that area. So it could be that it's really nice outside, or there's an activity outside, and so the children are being drawn somewhere else. So it's got to be, when you're observing an area, it's got to be in the context of, well, what else is on offer? Where else are children going if that area isn't being used? And written, so pros and cons there. Time consuming, absolutely. Written evaluations are particularly long observations, so you've got to have staff capacity to be able to do that. And also, if you're really, if you're going for valuable written observations, then those staff almost need to be supernumerary, don't they? Because otherwise they're going to kind of get drawn into doing other things. And it's actually so hard sometimes if you're doing an observation not to get distracted by all the other things that might be going on. Subjective, objective. So when we're doing an observation, it should be objective. So we should just be recording what's happening, what we see, rather than what we feel or putting our own interpretation on. But, you know, we come into these roles, don't we, with our own morals, our own values, our own opinions, etc., our own experiences, and that's just really, really hard to be very objective when you're doing observation. So that takes practice. And also, it takes somebody else going over it and say, well, how do you know that? Yeah, so that's, you know, somebody questioning what you've done in a constructive and friendly, supportive way. Yeah. And the process, it can be descriptive, so you can record language, you can say whether there's a group of children, whether it's one children, one-to-one, whether there's an adult there, what was being said, the language that's being used, etc. And you can look back at it. Okay. Have you done much playing so far today? No? Do you want to do some playing? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. There's a few loose parts down there. Okay, so I'm probably going to reduce it to 5 minutes. Yeah, so you've got 5 minutes just have a little play. So you can, if you want something else, if you need paper or pens or more sellotape or glue tack, let me know. Go and have a play. It's really difficult when you're doing these workshops, you don't know whether you have 2 people or 30 people. That's not really scissors. One more minute to finish up what you were doing then. Annihilate your face.
Yeah, there's one interpretation.
Noticed what I was doing throughout your little 5-minute play session there. I wasn't sure whether you'd completely picked up on it. You were quite engrossed. So I was observing. And how did that make you feel? And I know it's a false situation that we've set up here, but actually did it certainly impact on you?
Yeah, I just don't like my
immediately, as soon as you saw a camera there, I don't like a photo taken, and you completely stopped what you were doing. So,
but I didn't mind you writing.
Okay, so you were okay, yeah. Anybody else have any thoughts or things?
They're kind of quite opposite, especially when it flashes. You
Yeah.
really want to look at what you think there and trying to avoid the flash. But I didn't mind, once you sort of settled down writing, that didn't, it was like a little distraction from your eye, but apart from that,
It doesn't bother me, but the minute you know what you're doing, it's like it takes your attention from what you're doing into what you're doing. You just want to know what you're doing.
And also, the other thing is, it's almost like, God, I've got no idea what I'm really doing, but I better produce something.
So there's the pressure.
Yeah. So, once we introduce that observation into the play setting, are we still getting freely chosen persons, intrinsically motivated?
might depend how engaged the children are and what they're doing.
Absolutely, and how skilled the play worker is. I mean, I was a bit in your face with the...
I was going to
with
say,
the
and
camera.
maybe how up close
Yeah.
the observer.
Because I try not to sit near where I'm observing. But the disadvantage of that is you can't see it.
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it has to be a balance.
It is
really.
about
Yeah.
getting, it's about getting that balance. So the question that I'm asking actually is observation adulteration?
It can be.
It can be, and that's the thing that we need to watch out for, isn't it? Because certainly that's one thing that we don't want to be doing in the play cycle, in the play work setting, is adulterating the play. And we certainly don't want to be, in your case, I annihilated your play. It stopped. Because the observation, the thought of having that photo taken was too much. That became the most important thing that she was thinking about it. And when I moved away, settled back into the play, and she went again. So different children will respond differently to different observation methods. And actually, as a play worker, it's about being receptive to that, observing yourself, observing almost, and seeing what impact those observations have on the play setting. So factors affecting observation and play flow. So the play worker's skills, knowledge and understanding, which we started to unpick this a bit there already. The child or children's experiences, the settings, environment, the type of play and the observation method being used. It's about choosing different observation methods. And we're going to have a look at some different examples here. Okay, we're scribbling those down. We're going to have a look at a video next. Okay, I'll come back to that one in a minute, because I think what I'll probably do is just move you on to a couple of case studies, and I'll because I need to swap speakers around for some different skills, understanding and knowledge. That was the first one on the list there. If you've got this environment here, how might the play worker's skills, understanding and knowledge affect the observations that they're doing? First of all, have a good look at the picture and what's happening, what potentially could happen. Yeah, probably. In terms of this particular play activity, I mean, it's a play activity that's going on. Do you think every play worker is going to be comfortable with this? No. So it could be around their own skills, understanding and knowledge, couldn't it? That things happening, the children are doing more with it. So it could be around their own confidence. or it could be around the setting, so maybe they've been given permission to have a little and it's grown and they're playing with fire and things like that. So how might the play worker's skills, understanding and knowledge affect any observation that they're doing with this activity?
So if they're skilled at what they're doing and being required, they're going to see what they're going to observe as positive behaviour from the children. Whereas if they weren't comfortable and confident, especially the child holding the pole of the fire up in the air, someone's going to think that's dangerous, that child's being responsible.
They're going to see behaviour, they're going to see risk, not sticking to rules, boundary pushing, all of those sorts of things.
They're going to see that girl's far too close. But yet someone who's in control and feels confident won't necessarily feel that.
Yeah, absolutely. So if I can generalise, I'm allowed to. If we've got a play worker observing this, we might get one outcome. If we've got the health and safety officer of the school governing body observing this,
Out 5 minutes ago.
we might get completely
And you'd be out of a job.
Absolutely, we might get completely different observations and different outcomes. Okay, some case studies here then. So we're moving on to the children or the children's experiences. So if I can split you into, if you can go into two teams there. If you could have a look at Charlie. Charlie is 7 years old and he comes to your adventure playground every Saturday. And if you could look at Leah, and Leah's 8 years old and she's new to school in the after school club, and just have a think about how observations might affect these two children. Yeah, so thinking about the children's background and how observation might affect them. Two groups of three there, so you just can just
That's a bit hard.
That doesn't make sense, especially in a central playground.
But, okay, it's not, no, but what they're, I think
Whereas in a school, the school
Yeah.
level,
So, they're saying when he's at school,
boisterous behaviour.
so is it from here, as the school said?
It's just setting the context.
Yeah.
Because if we only see a child every Saturday
Yeah.
and we're observing them, what else is happening in their life that might affect their play or might affect observation? So if you think about how Charlie might be treated at school or what might be happening at school, and then how that might impact on what we do in the adventure playground, does that make sense?
Yeah,
So
that
just
makes
the whole picture.
It's all bonkers in the playground.
I was going to say,
it's
because
got a lot of
I was going to say,
Yeah.
really, are we using that as in, he comes to the adventure playground and he's
Yeah.
I was going to say,
So like, we have like some children
have friends
in a particular school where they're not allowed to run in their playground in the secondary school. When they're at our playground, it goes bonkers. They run around, shout, scream. No, they're not allowed to run.
even though it's nice.
It's not in the playground. It's quite common in playgrounds now. Shocking. I know when I was at school. So when they come to our playground, they go mad. Yeah, and we know it. I mean, you look at their facial expression. They're having fun. They're socialising with each other. It's a bit annoying. There's no. We did it ourselves when we were kids. So. But yeah, I do think if they don't have their place, it really does affect them.
Or we were talking about children in that place. If you have a child who's our children can fall, try and accidentally roll in her direction, she should participate.
Stay in.
You know, if they're not children from her class. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I would do an observation. It would all be casual. And inform other staff. Everybody just every now and again will ask in that direction, is she still in the same spot? So when she was 5 minutes ago, it's not where she was.
Exactly. The fact that by observing his behaviour, you can Also, is it, you know when you're saying how might observation affect Charlie, is it like when we're observing him, the difference from being...
Well, you think about Charlie's experience, so he's often under the supervision of an MTA, a mealtime assistant, so, you know, his lunchtime, he's supervised placement, what play.
Yeah, whereas in a central play,
involved in her direction, she responds to or not.
and behaviour is probably really good. In some ways, it could be really good having a central play, because actually he has stopped having somebody on his back. So what are you doing now, Charlie? Why are you doing this, Charlie? You know.
Come and play this game.
He might play up even more actually, because he's got that attention.
Yeah.
He's got
So then what happens when, if Charlie catches you observing him?
He might act differently.
And children have
Yeah.
That's self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, definitely.
So what your expectation is that I'm going to behave in this way, that's Sinead's on there anyway. Until they're old and treat like that anyway, so then we'll do it. Difficult, you've only got a little overview there, haven't you? Yeah.
So you don't know, like...
It's just starting to think about children's own experience, coming into the setting, being observed, what impact might that have on them? Yeah, that's what we're thinking about. So what about Charlie? So Charlie's 7. He's often in trouble at school for boisterous behaviour. Lunchtime, he's under the supervision of an MTA. Yeah, because his behaviour is that bad that he has to have that one-to-one support lab. And sometimes he's sent to time out as well. And but he can do colouring when he's in time out. So
the very colours in the black. And it would be like that, wouldn't it?
What ideas did you come up with, or thoughts did you have about how observation might affect Charlie?
Yeah, we just said, didn't we, about the fact that in that situation it would be, as you said, just, if they're going to observe me, then they're obviously looking for something, so I'll give them something to look at, and if the preconceived idea is that he's troublesome, then he'll act out always being troublesome. He probably went to the adventure playground and absolutely loved it, so...
And we can assume that Charlie doesn't get a lot of time for freely chosen, personally directed, intrinsically motivated play, because he's under supervision. We probably all know those children, don't we, who have got that label, etc. So observations might really affect Charlie. He might think that he's being judged. It's just like being at school because they're monitoring me again. Am I going to get sent somewhere and I'm not going to be allowed to play on this? That's great. And what about Leah? So Leah's 8. She's new to the school and the after-school club, and she's quite shy. She doesn't really want to engage, and there aren't any other children from her class in the club, so she's a little bit more isolated. And she often sits and watches others and doesn't talk very much. So how might observation affect Leah?
It could make her more drawn against, like to know, you're being watched and things like that. It can lead to things like if other children are become aware of that, and make socially her more awkward, harder to make friends.
Yeah, and there's nothing like the pressure of I've got to join in, I've got to do something. Sometimes it's okay for children just to be sitting and watching. They're gauging what's going on, who's in the group, how people are interacting, how they're getting resources, how they're getting equipment, how they're playing, the different types of play that's going on. That might be taking her a little time to settle. We need to be making sure that she doesn't need some support. So often we've got children who find it difficult to get engaged in play, and so they need a play worker to work alongside them to help them.
You said maybe send out a play queue. to make sure that if they're playing a ball game, if it rolls near her,
Yeah.
if she responds to that.
Yeah.
You know, if it doesn't, it has to be the child what
Yeah.
sends it out.
So we can use observation in a really positive way to support Leah as well, can't we? Yeah, are there certain things that she looks like, yeah, I want to join in this, and other things where she's just looking and not really seeing
Marissa said that she seems to be shy because we have lots of publisher.
Yeah.
Because there might be something else going on.
Yeah.
So you can't pursue that really.
No. No, it's quite suggestive. What about the settings environment then? So are there any hidden areas in your setting that you find it difficult to observe? Can you observe these areas? And so the question is, should you observe these areas? Yes, if you've got dens and things like that, should you be kind of poking your head around the corner and things like that? What's your thoughts and feelings on that?
It very much depends on the type of setting it is or it's meant to be. Certainly in settings that I work with where there is dysbiosis, where there's always safeguarding stuff, children are supposed to be within sight and or sound of a play worker at all times, so they would be checking
absolutely.
on
So
them
if
every so often, and knowing exactly where they are and what they're doing. I think in an adventure playground that's a different story completely.
I wouldn't necessarily say the same, because I mean, as an adventure playground, I've done this before, you still have concerns over safeguarding, so you would still check every now and again, maybe not as often as on those types of settings, but also because you have such a wide age range, like if you've got from 5 to 15, 16-year-olds, then you've got a bunch of teenagers in there, but also young children at the same time. You're going to observe and go around more because it's not appropriate for a 5-year-old to be hearing certain conversations.
And those conversations are usually going to take place in the
den,
in the
somewhere where they can't see where
there's no adults.
So I think it's.
And also things like bullying, if there's, and some of that's about play workers being skilled and knowing the children who are in the setting or using the adventure playground, and actually knowing where there's potential conflict, where there are problems. And so it might be that you've seen that they're headed to the same area, or one child followed another child, and so you feel that you need to be observing that area. But my recommendation would be that it's done discreetly. If you've got little areas where you can look in without actually, getting on in there, then it's much better. The type of play as well. The type of play is going to affect the observation, isn't it? Yeah, and that might be linked to the play worker's knowledge, experience and understanding, because if they're not confident with risky play and children are engaging in risky play, then that's going to impact on the observation. You're going to end up with a subjective observation again, aren't you? And also, again, risky play, children are doing something, they see you observing. It could go 2 ways, couldn't it? Well, potentially could go 3 ways. They just carry on doing what they're doing, or they think, she's observing, whoa, I'm going to take more risk. So they've kind of lost that risk assessment that they'd done originally, and they're going to push boundaries more. Could be positive, could be negative, or they think, shouldn't be doing this, and actually they kind of change what they're doing and change direction. So what can we do with our observation? So we can ensure we provide play opportunities across all play types, develop the play spaces that we've got available, support individual children, respond to cues and support displays where we need to support children getting involved in that play cycle. We can support the group, provide resources, use the correct levels of intervention and develop the staff or develop peers. If you want the PowerPoint emailing to you, you can pop your name on here and an email address, and I can email it to you.
What are these for?
Just a bit of fun.
You want us to put it on?
You put them on if you want, Use the eyes to do your observations. Fabulous. Looking good.
Yeah.
You have to kind of
What
nod your head,
wearing, yeah.
nod your head a little bit.
We need to push
The gown dress.
We'll move on. So the reflective play worker. We've kind of already looked at this because we looked at reflections earlier. I've only got 5 minutes. I'm just going to move past that one. What's in it for the play worker? So it's developing your understanding of play, increase or decrease your confidence, because sometimes we observe things, so we find out things, and we think things that we thought we knew and understood, we don't. So sometimes you can take a bit of a dip in your confidence as well as it increasing your confidence. It's important to remember that. Gain insight into the setting's dynamics, learn about how colleagues work and how they're interacting or not interacting, reflect on your own skills and knowledge, identify training needs. It's a nice collection of evidence if you're doing lots of different types of evidence that can be used to support the setting or for funding, etc. And just to kind of bring it back, thinking about the playwork principles, we looked at the first one really. But we need to observe, don't we? We need to observe if we're going to meet those 3 to 8 of the playwork principles. Okay, if we're going to support children to create play spaces, if we're going to act as advocates for play, if we're going to facilitate the play process, we need to be observing what's going on. Okay. Ethical considerations then. Do you have the correct permissions? Yeah, we talked about that a little bit, but we need permission for written observations as well. Children do have the right to play and they have the right to privacy. So it's about getting a balance with that United Nations Convention. Are you interfering in the play? Be aware of your own impact on the play too. Are you being objective or subjective? What are your reasons for observing? Are you using the correct method? What is your ability and skills, and is the context or the environment, etc., impacting on the play? Yeah, so if it's a different type of play that's going on outside and it's because it's raining, then you need to make a note of that, because weather certainly impacts on types of play and play spaces. And to conclude then, we need to observe play, would be my conclusion, but how we observe play can adulterate or annihilate play, and that's the message that's the message that I would give, is that actually we need to just be careful and check ourselves when we are observing. Okay. Any questions? If you want the PowerPoint, and there's also a little video that I was going to show as well, that's just not going to work, the IT is not on my side today. If you want those emailing across to you, please pop your email address down on what it is that you want sending, and I'll make sure that's sent to you on Thursday. Thank you. And you just will keep them.
Oh, we can have those.
They're your teeth!
Oh, wow.
You can have my doll.
Oh, fabulous. Thank you. Anybody wants their attendance certificate signing?
I didn't do it last year. When I got home, I didn't what sessions I took.
Where's the bigger ones from?
They're all at the concert.
You know,
Oh, I didn't pick one up.
when it's alphabetic, what's your name?
Julie.
The guy one on J, you should be in there.
That's fine, I think last time when I got it signed, that's what the rest of it.
You're going to go to another one?
Yeah.
What are you all going to go and do now?
I do want to go to another one, but the dinner is so early. Like, it's 6:30.
Really?
You just think, like, we've got to... The last session don't finish till 5. By the time you get back...
My next session I'm doing doesn't finish till 5:45.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Half 6 has got to be there.
at the entrance here.
Oh, I forgot to give that. It's only if you want examples of observation forms, there's some there. Okay. And again, if you want that emailing across to you, let me know. Email them out. It's quite a good one, that one, because you can get, if you're working with EYFS settings as well, they can link it into the EYFS. Yeah, I've lost mine. This is mine for tomorrow. Do you know what? Hiya, are you looking next? Yeah. I think not reliable.
Oh, no.
I ended up, I know.
My speakers, I tested them, they started smelling like burnt speakers.
Oh, right.
I turned them off.
These ones?
No, the ones in the other room.
Right.
But this isn't functioning.
It functions for what, about 2 minutes? Yeah, as soon as it kind of does that with it. And then it's,
Mike, are you presenting in here?
I think so,
I'm
yeah.
not using their computer, so if you want to grab the one from my room.
Is that alright?
Are you using speakers?
No, I don't need speakers. Do you want these?
Let's grab those speakers.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
How do we get to my room?
Thank you very much, guys. Bye.
How do I get to the room? Through that? This way, please.
Oh, this has worked out well. Switch the laptops.
Sorry, what are you doing then?
Oh, I think same sort of theme. Were you talking about reflective practice?
I was observations.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, sort of encouraging people to think reflexively about what it is about them that influences their practice, I guess.
A little bit of that. Impact on when observing, impact on the face-to-face, etc.
Yeah, I've heard some really good things about all of this thread, if you like, you know, today, so that's really good. Right, cool. See you in a bit.
I need to get somebody.